What's up, Bulldogs? All right, today we're going to continue the discussion of freedom. Yesterday I talked about the levels of freedom. Today I want to talk about what exactly is freedom and how do you get it and what prevents you from getting freedom in your life, right? So my definition of freedom is different than probably what a lot of people define freedom as, and that's fine because, again, like I said in a video, I think I did a couple days ago where I was talking about principles and having a life philosophy for life and really deriving those things. I have derived my definition from freedom from my own thought process, okay? So what the definition is that I've come up with is that freedom is your ability to exercise your will upon the world, right? Your ability to exercise your will upon the world. So what does that mean? It basically means this: if you have a thought in your head, right? The easier it is for you to execute it, right? The more that you can take something from your brain and make it into reality, the more free that you are. Period. All right. So. There's a lot of things that restrict your freedom, right? And now most people, when they think about things that restrict their freedom, they think about other people or the external forces, right? But I would say the majority of what restricts your freedom is actually internal. It's either yourself, okay, or your will itself, your lack of willpower. And we'll talk about that in a second here, right? So in order to gain more freedom, right, you have to be able to conquer the self. That is really the key of this. Because if you really think about it, right, what are the sources of blockages of your freedom, right? What things prevent your will from being exercised in the world, right? The one that most people come up with is simply other people, right? And it is true, right? You have to follow the laws in the country that you live, right? You can't just rob from a bank. You can't just take whatever you want, right? People won't just do whatever you want. So you might have a thought in your head and you want to enforce your will, but you don't have the power or the authority to do that. Now, if you had the ultimate power and authority, you could do that, right? You could force people to do whatever you wanted to do, right? And in some way, you would be more free in that regard. But that is also the kind of freedom that the pursuit of that is not worth the benefit of that. Meaning that what I mean by that is that most of the things that are preventing you from being free are not those things. It's not the external things. It's not if you had more power. It's not if people would do what you wanted, right? Those are not the things that prevent you from actually getting the things that you want in life. Because, again, you could take money from a bank. You could steal from someone else. You could have someone else do something for you or give you something. Or you could also generate that money yourself, right? You could, why haven't you created a business? Why aren't you making money from the business? Is it because you lack the knowledge or someone else is preventing you from doing it? Or is it because you lack the discipline to execute on that, right? That's more likely to be the case, right? So that brings us to the second restriction of your freedom, which is yourself, right? It is your limiting beliefs, all right? It's your inability to do the things that you actually want to do. So I wrote down a couple notes here, but a lot of it is, like I said, the limiting beliefs and the victim mindset, right? So if you've got a victim mindset, if you're considering yourself as a victim and you're not actually taking action and you believe that you can't accomplish things or do things, that's a majority of what prevents you from being free, right? Is because you don't actually you're not actually going to take action. You're not actually going to do the thing, right? Because you don't believe that it's possible, or you believe that you're a victim. You believe that other people are restricting your freedom, and because you believe that other people are restricting your freedom, you're being blinded to the fact that it is actually you. Like you could actually do anything, right? So I'll give you an example of this, right? Of a way that you are restricting your own freedom, right? A lot of people with the victim mindset, they'll say, well, this person is doing this to me, or guys will complain to me, oh, my wife or my girlfriend disrespects me, right? Well, you are allowing that to happen, right? You as a human being, like you have this limiting belief that says you have to take that. You don't have to take that. You can walk. You can leave. You can say that. You can set a boundary and say, if you talk to me this way, I will leave the room. I will leave the conversation. Right? But if you have the victim mindset, then you say, oh, no, this person's stopping me. I can't do this. Or they're my boss is a jerk. Well, you can get another job. Well, I can't get another job because if I get another job, like this is a really good job and I don't know if I can find another job. Again, you're restricting yourself, but you're having the victim mindset, right? But what is really restricting your freedom is you, because you have the ability to do that. You have the ability to literally do whatever you want. In fact, right now, You don't have to go to work tomorrow if you don't want to. There's plenty of people that are living on the streets that don't have jobs, okay? It doesn't mean that, that's the choice that you want to make or that is the best choice to make. But what I'm saying is that you have the freedom inherently to do all these things. It's just that you have restricted yourself by creating limiting beliefs that says, no, I can't do this. And that says, no, I have to do a 9-to-5 job. I can't start a business. I can't do these other things, right? You have made it so that you have created a cage for yourself that you live in. Okay, we talked about the levels of freedom yesterday, and it's a very similar concept, right? If you're at level 1 of freedom, right, it's inhibition. So what is really restricting you, right? You could have the life that you want. Let's say the dating life that you want. You could go and talk to girls if you wanted to, but what's preventing you from doing it? You are, okay? It's you creating a cage for yourself and believing these false beliefs, right? A lot of the stuff that I've been fighting against for years, a lot of the philosophies on the internet, black pill or whatever kind of stuff like that, it's based on this victim mindset. It's based on creating a cage for yourself where you cannot be free because you believe these damaging beliefs that are not even true, right? Like you're confining reality. You're confining your own freedom. You're putting yourself into a box that you feel like you can't escape from, but you literally have the key to it. Okay, so that's probably the biggest cause of biggest thing that's restricting your freedom. And then the third thing is your will. Okay, now the way I define this one is not having the willpower or discipline. All right, now this might be similar to yourself, but I put this in a distinct category because it's not about limiting beliefs, right? It's just about the ability to execute, right? Because a lot of what I find for a lot of people is that the biggest thing that stops them from having freedom is their ability to actually do the thing, right? So let's say that in your mind, you have the thought that you want to get in shape. You want to lose 15 pounds, okay? What prevents you from doing that? Is it external? Is it other people? No. Is it your beliefs? No, it's not your limiting beliefs. It's literally that you're lazy. It's literally that you do not have the ability to implement your will, that you don't have the discipline to do it. That is probably one of the biggest things that prevents you from being free, right? Is that you can have a thought in your head, but you can't execute on it because you don't have the willpower to actually make it happen. Again, like I said about starting a business, right? Why haven't you been successful at that? Why haven't you been successful? Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Why haven't you been successful at doing that? Because you don't have the willpower to actually execute on that, right? That's the thing that you're lacking. You're lacking that discipline. So that is preventing you from being free. How many things in your life right now are there that you would like to do? And you know you have the capability to do it, but you can't get yourself to do it, okay? That is tragic, right? But that is the truth of it. If we really think about what's restricting our freedom, and that's where, again, if we come down to this and we think about it, it's not society. It's not the government. It's not the laws. It's not, the economic situation or how unfair things are. Again, it's none of those things that are restricting your freedom. What it mostly is yourself, the limiting beliefs that you have, and then your lack of willpower or discipline to actually execute on those things. And I'm not trying to shame you or come down on you because believe me, I lack the willpower and discipline many times to do what I want. I would be way more free if I could just do what I have in my head, right? If you are familiar with the Bible, I think Paul said this. He said that like, why do I do what I don't want to do, and I don't do what I do want to do, right? It's a struggle. It is a struggle to do that, and so. The goal really is to become more free. I think that is one of the biggest things that you should be striving for in your life is to become more free. Why to become more free? Because you need to conquer the self. You need to conquer these things. You need to be able to force yourself to do the things that you have resistance to do, right? Because your will, it's almost like you have two different wills, right? You have one will that is the idealized will. That's like what you actually want out of life and what you actually want to do, and then you have the will that sort of resists. That's like the lazy will. That's like, I don't want to do things that require work or that are hard or that don't make me comfortable, right? And you have to really overpower this other will in order to gain real freedom. If you don't do that, then you're going to be restricted and you're going to be creating a cage that you're going to live in that a lot of times the way that you justify it is you blame other people, right? When in reality, you have the ability, you have the power to do it right now, right? There's nothing that's stopping you right now, especially today, right? We have the internet, we have the ability to, create content online. Like, you could build a business and make money if you wanted to. There's nothing that's stopping you from doing that besides yourself, right? But do you have the willpower? Do you have the strength to do that? Can you force yourself to go forward and escape your prison? That's the question. I'll see you tomorrow.